What's going on, everyone? My name is Mo. Welcome back to another FPL video. This is my channel, FPL Inklink, and today I'm going to be continuing with my club by club guide for the game week or game year of 2021-2022 season. So we're going to go through the club of Aston Villa today, but before we do that, if you've come to my channel for the first time, welcome. If you've come back, welcome back. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button, help my channel grow. In addition, if you like the video, hit the like button, and if you want to get the latest notifications of my content, please hit the notifications icon, and as soon as I release content, you will be notified that it's available and ready to view. So let's begin today's players review for Aston Villa. There's some really good players from last season who I think have really achieved above their potential than what I originally thought. And we'll be discussing them today, so I'll be also going through some key stats, early year fixtures, and why I believe whether they should or shouldn't be part of your drafts that you do or your final team selection before you submit it for game week 1, which will be in August. So let's not waste any further time and let's start with Martinez. So Martinez was the highest scoring goalkeeper last season. So he finished with a total of 186 points. So for Martinez, his points per game was 4.89. So as I compared that with someone like a Leno, who was at 3.44, 4.89 is substantial. And he only cost 4.5 mil. If you got him in like myself in the first game week and you didn't take him out like myself for the rest of the season, he was an absolute bargain. He's priced at 5.5 this year. I think he's a lot higher than I would have thought. 5 mil would have been fair, but 5.5 is a touch too high because I believe there's alternative goalkeepers who are cheaper and can score points per match pretty much. Not the same, but not too far behind either, which can be recuperated in other part of the field in terms of midfield and defenders. And strikers, of course. So last season, he played every single minute, selected by already nearly 40% of the managers. So we're going to go through the first 10 fixtures as I'm going through the club-by-club guide. So I'm going to go through it on the first player, and then we'll kind of like symmetrically kind of associate it with the players I'm going to discuss later on. So there's a sea of green when we start off with, but then actually there's a lot of red that arrive from game week 4. So let's go through with it. So they're playing Watford, Newcastle and Brentford for the first 3 game weeks. So the intentions I'm getting from the managers are they're going to keep him in for the first 3 game weeks and then kind of move on to an alternative keeper. Now that can be quite risky because prices will change, and if you do spend all your budget, then you may be taking hits as the season goes along. So after that, they've got Chelsea, Everton, Manchester United away, Tottenham away, Wolves at home, Arsenal away, and West Ham at home. So for me, I think there are more difficult games in this first 10 fixtures. But for Martinez, I think that might be a good thing, actually, because he will potentially have choices or chances of becoming point saves that he'll get. So for every 3 saves, he'll get a point. And plus, he'll get a chance to be on the bonus kind of like points system as well, with the saves and clean sheets potential as well. But for me, personally, I think he's a bit too expensive for the price. I think 5 mil would have been fair, but this is always going to be the case because he was the highest scoring goalkeeper last season. I think there's better alternatives out there, but if you do select him for the first 3 game weeks, as you know, you can see 40% of managers have, I completely understand your decision, but again, you're going to set yourself up to rotate almost pretty much immediately after the game starts for a goalkeeper, which I think transfers for goalkeepers should pretty much, you select it once and leave it for the season. So that's my school of thought. Others may differ. So that's Martinez that we started off with, and the second player we're going to go through is their highest scoring defender for last season, which is Matt Targett. So Matt Targett is at the moment selected by around 11.6% of FPL managers. He's priced in at 5 mil, so the same price as last season. He's got 138 points. So if we work that out for points per game, Targett got 3.63. That's quite impressive, to be fair. You know, he got 16 clean sheets and 4 assists in there as well. But for 5 mil, I think that's a really good price. Do I think they'll get 16 clean sheets again this season? Probably not. And being brutally honest, because I think that was kind of like an outstanding performance. But you can never say never. But for 5 mil, I think that's quite a fair price. And he's got quite a good attacking return. The only thing is, if they can consist continue having clean sheets, it makes him a really, really good prospect. But again, looking at those fixtures that you discussed, it will be difficult to maintain clean sheets. And do you know what? If they do, hats off to them. They're just kind of replicating what they did last season. However, there is a likelihood that it might not be sustained once again. It depends on Jack Grealish going as well. Will that kind of like weaken their overall squad? Will they still be on the high? Can they really kind of build on what they succeeded on last season? Yet to be seen, but it's someone I can consider because he looks one of the best players for that price range for a defender. The next player we've got is the high-scoring midfielder, which was Bertrand Traore. 2% of managers have got him. He only costs 6 mil at the moment. He got 14 returns last season with 7 goals and 7 assists. He only played 2,315 minutes, so there's a chance of rotation here. But for the price you're paying for him, kind of expected as well for that kind of a rotation play. He got 135 points. So if you look at his points per game, he got 5.19, which is quite impressive. So if he played the whole season, he could have potentially been hitting around the 180, 200 points mark, which is for his price quite impressive. But again, they've got some new players that have been brought in this season. So it's be interesting to see, will he get the same game time or will he still be a squad rotation player? The next player I'm going to discuss is the main man, the star recommendation from me, the star player, which I always give a star recommendation. This is my star recommendation from Aston Villa. Now, whether he stays at Aston Villa or he goes to Man City, it's yet to be seen. But even if he was at Man City, I still would say, based on his price, he is a star recommendation. He's already selected by 35.4% of managers. 135 points last season. So if you look at that points per game, it's 5.62, and it worked out to be something along the lines that if he played the whole season every single minute, he was only going to be about like 10-15 points behind like Bruno Fernandes, who's a high scoring player. I think he ended up at 220, 225, if my calculation was correct, which is quite impressive for someone who's only 8 mil. I think he was injured last season, but I think if he gets a full season this year, and with the form he showed last season, and he's shown at the Euros so far with 12 assists and 6 goals, absolute bargain. So this is my main recommendation from Villa. Whether he stays or not, I think the fact that he's going to go to Man City, he's probably going to go there with the intention to play week in, week out. I don't think they're going to spend 100 million on a player to put him on a bench or be a squad rotating player. I think that if he's signed, and it's kind of like a statement from City that they want to go big, they want to win not only the Premier League but Champions League and other competitions, to kind of like solidify their legacy and kind of like stamp their authority that they are, the big club and they want to win different tournaments. And Jack Grealish, I think, can help them do that. Now, whether that means they lose players like Sterling and Mahrez who want regular football in return, I don't think they'll mind too much. But generally, just looking at him, and if he does go, whether he goes to Man City or not, even if he goes to Man City, he's 8 mil. He's going to be playing week in, week out. That's an absolute joy to have in your squad. I think that ownership can potentially change from 35.4 to maybe high 50s, even early 60s. And I would not be surprised if it goes higher, because he is that good of a player and he can literally play in any squad and any team of the Premier League. And if not, if he does play for the champions, then, I can't even comment. I think he'll easily break 200 points if he plays at Man City this season. With the power he has around him, the talent he'll have, like Harry Kane potentially. He's got Jesus, Kevin De Bruyne. For now, Raheem Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho. There's a lot of talent around him. So let's wait and see. But this is my star recommendation, Jack Grealish, from Aston Villa. Last not least, we have Ollie Watkins. Now, Ollie Watkins was in my squad for pretty much most of last season. He's 35% of managers already actually own him, which is not a surprise by me whatsoever. He got 168 points last season, which points per game, he got 4.54. If I told you now that, you got players like Aubameyang, who obviously he was a midfielder last season, but only got just over 5 points per game, for the price difference. Last season was 6.5 and Aubameyang was nearly double his price. So he's not actually done too bad. Can he replicate it? That's the question. But he pretty much was nailed on to play every single minute. And the price you're paying for him, 7.5, I think it's quite generous. I thought potentially he would have been 8 this year. But, the consistency element will now be there. And if Grealish is not there, will he be as potent up front? Will he get the service? It's yet to be seen. Obviously, they've got a new player in there. Is Buendia? I think that's how you pronounce it. So, is he going to have the same effect, or like an effect that Jack Grealish has had on Aston Villa? It's yet to be seen. But Ollie Watkins generally, he's a great player to watch. I'm really impressed by him. Even for England, when he has played, he's shown glimpses of his talent. So let's see what he can bring to Aston Villa in themselves, and can he help them kind of like build on the success from last season. Looking at the games originally, which I said at the start, he has got some really good games to start off with. Maybe he could start off strongly, get a few goals in the Watford, Newcastle and Brentford game. I'm not saying he can't score in the following games, which are Chelsea, Everton, Manchester United, Tottenham. He has all the potential in the world, but I think he's got a really good start. And if he starts off well, a bit like DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin last season, if he starts off well, you can only build from it. And that's literally how I see Ollie Watkins himself. I think he's a really good prospect, and I will not be surprised if he builds on his success and kind of like get snapped up by one of the kind of big boys in the next couple of seasons. So that is my review for Aston Villa, guys. Those are the players that I've kind of outlined. Buendia, I haven't seen much of him. I don't really know much about him generally, but I've heard some really good things out of it. In terms of FPL point of view, I really didn't want to discuss him because I don't have any kind of evidence to go by it. But if you've got the budget and you want to give him a go based on what you know about him, please feel free. This is my review on Aston Villa as a club-by-club guide and their review of their players. If you've liked it, hit the like button, guys. If you haven't subscribed, not a better time than now, eh? Hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. In addition, if you like this video, hit the like button and the notification bell if you want to get the latest notifications for my content. If you haven't joined the league for FPL Inc. link on the game itself, let's get you joined in. The league code is at the bottom left. Type it in, press submit, and you'll join the league. Let's make it the best league. Let's make it the most competitive and the most enjoyable. And let's have a really good season in terms of competing with each other. May the best manager win. And hopefully we can enjoy the season at the end and we can celebrate who is the winner. I'll announce the winner in my final end of year review video as well. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have a lovely evening, and I will see you guys soon with some more content.